So this video is going to show us how to make a plot using Excel and add a linear regression to it. And so what I have here to start is two columns of data, temperature versus density of water for our sample data. One thing to know when you go ahead and make a plot, we're going to make an XY scatter plot. It's helpful to think about this as the first column will be your x-axis and the second column will be the y-axis. So the first thing we need to do is go ahead and put in our data. If you don't already have that in Excel, you can open up Excel. You would then put in your x values in one column and the y values in the other column. I also have column headers, so temperature versus density, and those can be brought in as our axes labels. Also notice none of our data has units. If you put units in, Excel will not recognize those as numbers and our plot won't work. So once we have the data, we're going to take our two columns of data and I'm just going to highlight everything. I'm going to highlight both columns of data. And now we're going to come up to our ribbon in Excel and I'm going to choose Insert. And at this point, we want to choose our plot. You can choose recommended plot. Excel thinks it's smart, and a lot of times that works. But instead of doing that, I'm going to come down here and choose the XY scatter plot, which looks like this, where our points are not connected. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, and it should already make our XY plot. Now, when we did this, we can see our density is the y-axis, the temperature is the x-axis, but we're not done yet. We still want to add our axes labels and a linear regression. So while our plot is highlighted, I'm going to come up here to where it says Quick Layout. I'm going to click on that, and if you just click this first box, what that's immediately going to do is you can see the difference. We now have a title box, our axes label boxes, and our key. In this case, we only have one series of data, so we don't need this key, so I'm going to delete that by highlighting and deleting. We might say this title is not accurate, so I can double click in there and say temperature versus density. We can double click our axes label, and our axes label here is density in grams per milliliter. We can go ahead and double click in our x-axis title and say this is temperature. If you want to change font sizes of anything, you can click your font sizes going up to the home key, and I can make that bigger by selecting the bigger text, as big as you want it. Maybe that's too big, so we can cut back down. And you can do that with all of your axes labels, your titles. However, you can adjust the size of everything as you want. So the last thing we want to do is add a linear regression. So to do so, I'm going to click on our data points, and now I can right click or control click on that, and I get our menu box. And when I do this, we can see we can add a trend line. So when we add our trend line, I'm going to choose linear because we want a linear relationship. I'm going to come down to the bottom and say display the equation on our plot, and then display the R squared, right? That's a measure of how accurately our data fits our line. So now we have everything on our plot. I can move that out of the way to make it easier to see. Again, I can make the size bigger on that, move things away, make it easier to see so we can read it. So there's our equation of our plot, our equation of our line, and we have our overall plot. We can still resize things as we want, make things easier to read. Finally, if I want to incorporate this into a Word document or a Google document, I can simply select it, go to edit and copy it, and then paste it into a new document, and the plot should go with it. Hopefully that helps. Thank you.